Welcome back, everybody, to Empyrion Galactic Survival Alpha 12.3. I'm an old guy gaming, and we're going to continue our Let's Play series here on the Swamp Planet. Sorry we missed an episode today on Sunday, but as many of you probably noticed, and did notice because of the comments that I saw, I started a tutorial mini-series. And I'm not planning on doing, more than probably just a few more videos on that. But I decided to do that because I had a few people asking about it, and have had people ask me in the past to do tutorials, and so I decided to go ahead and do that and help people, that want to get started in the game, prepare for, when they actually release the game on August 5th. So I've been working on that, and like I said, I do have a few more videos I'm planning on doing on that, but we'll keep the Let's Play series going, of course, too. I'll try and keep the videos coming on this. There might be a couple more days that we'll miss, 1 or 2 days while I finish that tutorial, but then once that's done, we should be able to get back to a normal schedule with daily videos here. Okay, so let's see, what are we going to do? Our main goal for this episode is to bring in, or at least work towards, getting in a small vessel. Now, what I decided to do was I decided to go ahead and spawn in my Stingray version 2. Those of you who watched my Project Eden series back in Alpha 11, you're probably familiar with this ship because we built that ship in Project Eden, and then I upgraded it to version 2. And so we need a small vessel now because I've got to go up into orbit and find the space station before we can actually teleport to it. Now, I got 2 different pieces of information about that. One of you guys told me that all I needed to do was enter the playfield, and then I'd be able to teleport to the station. And then a couple of other people said that I had to actually physically visit the station before I can teleport to it. I don't know which one's correct, but what we're going to do is we're just going to go to the space station physically anyways. And that way, we'll be able to teleport to it in the future. I suppose one thing I could do is pop up into orbit really quick and then come back down and go to the space station, the planet side trading station, and then see if that worked, just to see which way it actually is. Maybe we'll do that, just so we know for sure. Okay, so as you can see, I started feeding some of the lesser quantities of ores and materials and whatnot into the factory. We've got enough carbon, cobalt, neo, and titanium rods. We need a decent amount of copper, and we need a pretty decent amount of silicon, and a little bit more iron. And so what I did was I went out and went all the way back to the Heidelberg. I couldn't think, with the intention of salvaging whole blocks to feed in here to get the time down and feed more materials. I got all the way to the Heidelberg, and then I realized that I hadn't brought a core with me, which, I mean, I do that all the time. I should be keeping a couple cores with me all the time anyway. And I usually do that, but just too many things to remember. So I'm actually going to go ahead and queue up a couple of cores. Can we do that in here instead? Yeah, so let's queue up a few cores in here. As you can see too, I'm making a rocket launcher. I made myself a sniper rifle, and then the ammunition for those 2 things. And along the way to the Heidelberg, I also picked up several more neodymium surface stones, and got a little bit more neodymium. So we have 150 ingots. I've also been crafting all the ore into full ingots, so that's pretty much done. So just about everything I have in here is now full ingots. I do have enough copper and silicon to feed into the factory, and iron for that matter, to get it going right now, but I still think I'd like to go back to the Heidelberg and get some whole blocks to feed into here so that we can get the time down and then save some of these resources for other things. So I think that's what we'll actually go ahead and do. Now, let's see. There was something else I wanted to do. I wanted to go, since we have plenty of CPU on the hover vessel now, I wanted to make a medical station for it. So, apparently we can't make that in that constructor, so we're going to have to do it in here. Yeah, so let's make ourselves a medic station. And I don't know if you know, a normal medical bay, this thing acts as a spawn point. So you don't need a clone chamber if you already have a medical bay. I don't know if that's the same situation, though, for hover vessels. So let's make this and see if it actually tells us if that's what it does. It's interesting, too. It says this restores health and heals diseases. So it automatically heals poison, food, dermal bite, frostbite, open wound, and poison spike. That's pretty interesting, because I don't think this guy heals any diseases at all. I think all it does is just heals your health. Let's actually look at that real quick. Well, do I have that learned yet? I do. Yeah, it doesn't, because you know, you actually have multiple blocks that you can use with the right-click menu on this. So, to my knowledge, this will only heal your health. It doesn't heal any diseases. But one thing you can do with this, if you guys didn't already know this, is you could, let's say that I got radiation poisoning or something like that, you know, or one of the ailments. I could pick this up and then set it back down as one of the other stations that heals that, use it, and then put it back, pick it back up and put it back down as a normal medical station. So when space is tight, all you really need is one of these, and you can use it to heal anything. You just have to pick it up and put it back down as whatever device you need to heal whatever the problem is that you currently have. Okay, anyway, let's see. We got our sniper rifle, so we're going to put that there, and we'll slide all this over, and we're going to put the rocket launcher there. And looks like we have one core already made up. Oh yeah, because that guy's making the cores, that's right. So we'll let that finish making the rockets. Well, you know what, too? We don't need the health thing right now. And, oh, I made an EVA boost, too. I'm not going to actually put that on until we go to space, but good Lord, I hope I don't forget to do that. I probably am going to forget to do that. You guys should probably take bets. Probably going to forget, but I'll try not to forget to do that. The reason I don't want to put the EVA boost on right now is because it does reduce your armor by 80. Like, that's a huge armor reduction. And, you know, that's something I always forget. I put this on and then I just leave it on, and then I go into combat and I get, I'm losing a lot of armor. So I have to try and remember to, not wear that when I'm not going to be out in space. So hopefully we'll do a little bit better with that. Okay, let's see. What do we got for rockets? We got 15. We got 21. You know what I think I'm going to do? Let's cancel those and get that made, and then I'll re-queue up the rest of the rockets that we need. What am I doing? Right here. So I think we had like 5 more to go, right? Which is actually 25 more, because they're an output count of 5. And that gives us 26 to start with, though, so that's not too bad. Let's load these weapons up. I kind of like the T1 sniper rifle. It's not that bad. It packs a pretty decent punch, for a T1 weapon. And then, of course, the rocket launcher is a super useful weapon, too. We'll get the T2 rocket launcher as soon as we can, because then, then it'll have homing rockets. But this one, is also quite useful as well. Not so much for taking out moving aerial targets, but it's really good for, for ground combat. Okay, so we're waiting on... Looks like our thingamadoodle here is done. Okay, so we got a medic station. Let's put this in here, up in the input. And I'm going to grab 2 cores. And then we'll worry about getting the rest of the rockets later. I think we're ready to go. How's our food? Let's take a look at our food. We'll just pop a couple breads. I'll save the burgers for later. And looks like our crops are still growing, so we'll worry about picking those when we get back. Let's take a look and see where our fuel is. We're at 88%. That's not too bad. I grabbed about, 4 or 5 more promethium stones when I made that first trip out there, too, in that little marsh area. And then, I made all those up, so I've got some fuel packs here. But then I also loaded these guys up with a bunch of wood that I got when I took the hover vessel out with the harvester on it before we started the video here, and got some more wood. Okay, so I think we're good to go. I don't actually want to carry 44 fuel packs in my inventory, though. That's a lot of weight. So let's actually use those to just top this off. And then I'm going to put the rest of those in here. So we have a total of 55 fuel packs, plus I still have 18 Promethium left, and I have 10 in here, but I have these in here to make the rockets because they require the pellets. I believe we're pretty good shape, in pretty good shape here in the hover vessel. We've got our armor locker there, we've got 37 biofuel, and 798 15 mil bullets. So we need to turn our thrusters on. Okay, so, yeah, what we're going to do, guys, is I've got charges, I've got my multi-tool. So, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Heidelberg. And we're going to harvest some whole blocks, or salvage, rather, some whole blocks on the Heidelberg to put into the factory and see if we can get the time down on the small vessel. And, like I said, to salvage or to save a lot of our raw resources for other things. Because, you know, I could get it started now with what I have, but it's going to reduce my copper down to almost nothing. And then, you know, then we'd have to go get more copper. Well, we're going to have to do that anyways, but you know what I mean. I'm doing it for two reasons, to save on resources, but also to reduce the time. Hopefully, you know, I mean, the time it's going to take me to get to the Heidelberg and then get back, it might ultimately become a wash, but what the hell, let's just do it anyway. All right, I will see you guys at the Heidelberg. Alright guys, here we are. So let's just kind of park more or less right in the middle here. And so what I'm going to do, make sure we're level there. What I'm going to do is I'm only going to, oh, side note, I'm not actually going to mount the medic station. I'm just going to keep it in the inventory, and we'll just pull it out and plop it down if we need it. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that we don't salvage anything that we already salvaged in 12.2, because remember, this is a new seed, so everything is new again. So things like the constructor, the medical bay, the armor locker, and whatever else, the food processor, those kinds of things that I grabbed in 12.2, I'm not going to grab those again because we already have them, and that, I wouldn't feel right about that. So, the main goal here, though, is to get, to get as many whole blocks as we can, so that we can, feed those into the factory. Now, when I was in here earlier, I went ahead and harvested most of the thrusters and just got the parts, so we don't really have a lot of thrusters left. There might be a couple. And we'll be able to tell where they are, once we put the core down. So let's do that right now. I'm just going to plop it right there. It's good enough. And then if we look in the P menu and go to devices, we have a couple thrusters left. So no, that's what I want to do. Yeah, let's show those on HUD. I'm also going to be grabbing a lot of the glass too, just because we need the silicon. But the food processor, we didn't harvest the fridges. I don't think we did. So those I could grab. We got the grow lights, so we're not going to get those. We didn't do the O2 station or a tank or the ventilators or the landing gear. So all that stuff I can do, but if it's something that we got in 12.1 or 12.2, then I won't get that stuff. Okay, so our core is down. Let's go ahead and connect to... we'll start with the ore and wood controller first, and we'll fill that up, and then we'll feed everything into the factory once we're full. Okay, so let's see, the thrusters that remain, looks like they're all over here, so let's grab those first. Make sure our tool is on retrieve blocks. Okay, so that takes care of those. Let's turn those guys back off. Oh, I guess we can't, because we picked them up. So I'm not sure how we get rid of these markers now. They used to show up in here, and then you can just delete them from here, but I don't see them that anymore. Are they in the registry by chance? Probably not. Okay, well, maybe they just stay there until we log back in later. I'm not really sure. So pick those up. There we go. Got to go into here and put them on the toolbar. Oh, that's because they're medium thrusters. They were heavier. Okay. Now that makes sense. Okay, so that got us down to an hour and 27 minutes. I don't think we're gonna we're gonna make a huge dent in the tide, but if we can make a huge dent in, you know, the copper and the silicon specific in particular, and the iron's not going to be a problem, you know, at least that will save us on resources. Okay, so what other component or equipment items do we want to try and nab? We're not going to grab the constructor because we got that, you know, in the last episode. If we do a regroup, does that makes the thrusters go away? Did that make the tooltips go away? Nope, they're still there. Okay. So we can grab the... There's 2 medical stations on the ship, so I only grabbed one last time, so I can grab the other one. It doesn't matter which one. And maybe if I remember, I'll try and turn that thing off before we actually nab it. We can't grab the food processor. I don't believe I grabbed either one of the refrigerators last time, so we can grab those. Those are available to us. The hangar shutter doors, those are probably worth getting, so let's mark those up. I'll grab any lights I come across because that will give us some silicon, but I'm not going to go out of my way to do that. Let's get the O2 station and the O2 tank. All the ventilators are up for grabs. The landing gears, those will probably give us a decent amount of material. So let's mark those up. And the rest of it, we'll just grab as we come across it. I only have a T1 multi-tool, so it takes a little bit longer to pull all this stuff up. Maybe one of the first things we'll buy from the Polaris is a Tech 2. I don't think they're super expensive, but we'll see. Either that or we'll go start raiding some POIs and we'll just find one. I've never really had any problem finding those things. Okay, let's take the O2 station off. I might actually hang on to the O2 station and the and that tank just for the base, because once we start going up into space, I'd like to just, you know, make sure we can top off our O2 before we leave. So I probably will do that. So let's put... We're gonna hang on to that, and we're gonna hang on to the station, which is actually sitting at my feet right at the moment. We don't need another to worry about the fridges. Okay, so that gives us some copper and silicon. Okay, let's pick those 2 things up. We're going to keep the O2 station. We don't need another medical device, though, so we will feed that into the thingamadoodle. And let's move these guys into here, just so I don't accidentally grab them later unintentionally. Okay, so where does that put us? It hasn't gained us a whole lot yet. But oh well, whatever, what the hell, right? It's worth a try. I kind of like to salvage. I mean, I don't know, it's just kind of fun, a fun part of the game for me. So, yeah. Alright guys, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut the camera here, and I'm just going to salvage for a while. And when I'm finished, I'll bring you back and just kind of show you, you know, where we are at that point. So here again we're basically at 1 hour and 24 minutes as of now, and we need almost 400 copper. Most of that we probably are going to have to just feed in, and we need another 240-ish, 35-ish, 34-ish silicon. The iron will meet no problem. So I'll bring you back when I'm done and show you, how far we got, and then we'll just go from there. Okay, so be back in a while. All right, guys, I want to show you something in case some of you might not know you can do this. So notice that when I try and put these steel blocks in, it won't let me do it because it's got all of the iron that it needs. Well, you can get around that by actually switching to a different ship, feeding that stuff in, and then coming back to the current ship. So you'll notice that right now I have 1 hour and 16 minutes left of production time. And there's 208 iron currently in the factory, okay? So 1 hour and 16 minutes. Keep that in mind. Now, what we're going to do is go to the library, and we're going to just switch over to the Tier 3 J-Jet because, and I could really select any ship I wanted to. It doesn't have to be this, but I'm actually going to be bringing this in as soon as we can. So we're going to switch over to the J-Jet, and now this stuff becomes available once again for us to do. So now I can put the iron in there. And we can keep filling the iron up until this one fills up, and then we could switch to, like maybe the blacklight or something really huge to continue feeding the iron in. Okay, so we fed all that in. Now if we go back to the Stingray, which is, where are you? Stingray version 2, and send that back to the factory. Now we're down to 1 hour and 13 minutes with 294 iron, okay? So that's just a way that you can get around that if you didn't know that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going and see if we can get our silicon requirement met. We have to get up to 320, and then there's no way we're going to pull enough copper, salvage enough copper off of this vessel to meet that. So that we're going to probably have to just bite the bullet and put our ingots in. Okay, so yeah, let's just keep working a little bit longer until we get this all the way, or at least as close as possible. All right, guys, I think we are about done here. I have pulled everything off of this vessel, except for those items that I'm not allowing myself to take because we took them in 12.2. And other than those items, everything else that's left is iron. And we have plenty of iron, so I'm just putting the rest of these in to get our silicon as high up as we can, and then we'll see where we're at, and then we'll have to just use the remaining copper that we have back at the base to finish the rest of this out. So let's grab all this. This is all just iron too, except for the bed. So that gives, oh, that doesn't give silicon either. Okay. All right, so let's see where we are at with the Stingray now. Okay, so we knocked it down to 54 minutes and 58 seconds. And we got pretty close on the silicon, actually. Pretty close. That's not much at all. That's only, what, 48 more that we need to do? So, yeah, that's not bad at all. So we'll just throw the rest of that in at the base too. I mean, I could go to another POI somewhere or a wreck and try and get that stuff, but it's probably not worth the time. But as you can see, as you can see, I thought I was still on my drone. The only thing that's left in the vessel now are the cargo boxes, which actually, you know what, we could loot those. I don't think I'm going to, though, and the reason being is because some of those are used for the quest, and I just don't want to touch them until, we get we get past a quest. And it actually looks like they might even be using the constructor as part of the quest too, based upon what they've named it. So we're not going to touch that. Plus, I took that in 12.2 anyway, so I'm not going to take it regardless. All of this stuff we took in 12.2, so I'm leaving that in place for that same reason. So we did pretty good, I think. You know, made pretty good progress on getting most of the way there, and well, we reduced the time a little bit on it, so not too bad. You know, one thing we could potentially do too, we could throw a core on this, I guess, and then salvage it as well. There's really no point in me, you know, trying to fix this up and actually use it, because the Stingray is going to be a better ship than this anyway. So yeah, you know, it might be worth our while to do that. Maybe we will. I don't know if is this required for the quest though too. I don't think it is. I don't remember it being, but I'm not 100% positive about that. I mean, what would we get off it? We get a landing gear, a light, a cockpit, a couple of thrusters. So, I mean, we wouldn't get a ton of stuff off of it. Possible that we could get the rest of our silicon requirement. But I'll tell you what, you know, because I'm not 100% positive that this isn't needed, I'm about 80% positive it isn't, but I'm not 100% positive. So, we're going to just leave it for now. There is another option, though, too. We could actually start that quest and just take it as far as we need to go. You know, beyond the Heidelberg. If I do that, though, I think it's the solo mission, starting the journey, that we would need to do. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's activate the mission. We're going to have to go find that, you know, the what's it called? Teleport station. So, Commander, just for reference, I've been storing sensor. You know what, though? I really should go back to the base and get the ship started first. And then, you know, while we're waiting for the ship, because we still have almost an hour on it, then we could maybe work on just the first part of the quest. Oh, is it? I told it to wait. Why is it? I guess it's not waiting. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go home and get the rest of our ore in the factory so we can get the ship started. And then what we can do is we can, you know, work on starting this quest. At least, you know, at least as far as getting it to the point where it no longer needs the Heidelberg. And then we don't, you know, then I can loot the rest of those storage chests. And we don't have to worry about, you know, any of the rest of that. What the hell just happened? Oh, I used the wrong tool on that. Duh. Ugh. That wasn't very smart. Oh well, shit happens, right? I couldn't figure out what was going on for a second there. It actually did give me one little piece of promethium ore, didn't it? Oh, for Pete's sake. Okay. All right. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go back to the base, get the rest of the ingots that we need into the factory so we can actually get started on the Stingray. And then I'll probably go ahead and just meet you at the station down here, and we'll resume from there. All right, guys, we are at the teleport station. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. We did all of this in 12.1. So, you know, I'm not going to actually go through it step by step. I'll go through it step by step, but I'm not going to, like, read everything, is what I'm trying to say. Some source is not here, it's emitting from another position nearby. Okay. So now Ida's going to talk to us here in... this could be the first clue of what's happened to us. Ida, is there a way to quickly get through that? Or it could be a trap. We'll find out, I think. Let's start chasing the white rabbit, shall we? Follow the signal. Okay, when I said I'm not going to read it, what I mean by that, if you guys don't already know, is these quests have really long, backstory that you have to actually read through, and that's the part that I skipped earlier, just because it takes quite a long time to read through it, and I've already done that. So, if you guys have not seen all of that, then I'll leave it up to you in your games to go through it yourself. So either that, or if you really, really, really want me to read it to you, I already have. Just go back to season 1 on the snow planet and find those episodes, and I go through the whole entire thing in that episode. Okay, so anyway, let's continue on here. So where does it want us to go back to? I think it wants us to go back to the Heidelberg now. Yeah, okay. So yeah, we'll go back to the Heidelberg here, and then hopefully we can do everything we need to do to finish the quest at this location, and then we can loot the rest of the cargo boxes. This planet has seen a lot of fights. Yours is the last in a series. Track down the UCH signal fleet. Ida is picking up, and you will possibly find remains of your fellow comrades. Let's go. Commander, I'm detecting the UCH identification signal. Pelican class transporter. The Heidelberg. Indeed. Okay. We've already kind of stripped it down a little bit, but totally destroyed. I'm not sure we'll find anything useful here. I have to wait for this part to finish. We should have a look anyway. I have a marked possible target for your investigation. It's showing an electromagnetic signal. There we go. Let's have a look inside. Multitool and a multi-charge. Okay. Some stuff in a notepad. I'm gonna leave that up for a second. Pause the screen if you want to read this. Okay. Chief Pallet, one of the engineers I worked with on my first assignment on Apollon Station. By the way, did you notice the whole wreckage seems to be weathered, like it was lying around here for quite some time? I'm already analyzing the traces. The first results show the hull damage happened about 11 to 13 months ago. Months? How can we? Okay, let's say this is correct. It is correct, Commander. Considering the events of our arrival, this could explain a lot. Chief Lutz had a theory about time dilation in the vicinity of an unstable warp field, and the irregular warp vortex around the Titan we got dragged into. Could be considered one. Correct, Commander. I will analyze this further. Well, perfect. Okay, let's consider this is not 2473, but 2474, for whatever reason. I think we should investigate the wreckage more closely. Maybe we'll get more info about what's happened to the fleet, if nothing else. While we're at it, I detected an electronic current nearby. Let's see if someone has left another note inside. Okay, once again, pause the screen, or I'm sorry, pause the video if you want to read all of this. I'll wait just a moment. Okay. Commander, the optical sensors have detected something attached to one of the machines over there. Huh, a pad taped on it. And looks like it was written in our Academy secret code. Let's see if I can still decrypt this. Okay, pause the video if you want to read all of this. It's a good story, so if you haven't read it, I would definitely do it. Okay, this is slowly painting the picture. A teleporter. But no info where to find it. Ida, where in this pile of rubble can we find the bridge or the aforementioned console? I know where it is. Good new, Commander. I have located the console. Bridge console. Wait, what? Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get that key card by accessing the console. Wait, did I pick up the console? Oh, you know what? I think I did accidentally salvage the console. Damn it. All right. Well, we're gonna have to manually advance. Oh man, after all that effort to try and get through this, I picked up the frickin' console. I can't believe it. Okay, let's go into here. And solo mission, AI routine, access console. Really manually complete? Yeah, because I'm a numbskull. Okay. Okay, that was the easy part. Where do we find that teleporter? Do you remember the station at the crash site? We could start there. I have marked it on your map. Did it? Okay. All right, so at this point, they're going to send us back to the teleport station. But we'll do that. We'll do that some other point. Because really the main reason I went through all of that right now, here again, is because I wanted to make sure that we needed to do everything we needed to do at the Heidelberg for the quests before I finished looting the place. And I am pretty damn sure, guys, that the little small vessel that's over wherever the hell it's at, it's over that way or somewhere, isn't needed for the quest either. I'm pretty sure that's the case. So let's go ahead and connect to our ship, and we're just going to loot all of the crates here. So we'll go to the Orenwood and connect to that and just pull everything out of these cargo boxes here. Got a couple more charges, which is good. Most of this is just going to be, you know, building components. But we did find a multi-tool and a few charges, so that'll come in handy. We started, you know, I did start the Stingray in the factory, though, so here again, I don't know that there's a whole lot of point in us going and trying to salvage that little ship. I mean, we could, you know, for future, but this is 29 minutes out now. But I don't think I'm gonna. I think I'm just gonna leave it there. We might come back for it later if we feel like we still need some parts, but I think I'll just leave it in place for now. Okay, guys. Well, that is it for this episode. So in the next episode, we should have the Stingray ready to go. So I'm probably just going to spend that last 30-odd minutes or so off camera mining. We'll do a little bit of mining, maybe. Get a few even more resources, and then when the Stingray is ready, we'll bring it in the next episode, and then we're going to go up into space. And we're going to test whether or not you have to just enter the playfield to then use the teleporter to the station, or if you have to go all the way to the station itself. So the way we'll do that is we'll fly to the planetary trading station, then we'll go straight up into space just to get into the playfield, and then we'll come back down and try it and see if it works. And then if it does, well, then we know that then you only need to enter the playfield. If it doesn't, then we'll know that you have to actually physically visit the space station first before you can then teleport to it later. Okay, so guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, share out the video. And remember, like I said, there might be a few more days in between videos while I finish up the tutorial series. But once that's finished, then my plan anyways is to get back to just, you know, normal daily Let's Play videos. If you guys haven't checked out the tutorial series, give it a check. Give it a look-see if you want to. It's designed for new players, but it's very in-depth. Most tutorials that I have seen other people do, cover the very basics. And what I'm endeavoring to do in this tutorial series is go through everything. And so it's very detailed, very in-depth. So far I've received some pretty positive feedback and some good comments on it and stuff. So I'm hoping that it will help new players get into Empyrion and prepare them for when they actually release the game here in a couple of weeks. So check it out if you want to. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. That's it. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.